Okay, so in this video I will talk about how I made my iPhone and iPad more like an e-reader by mounting a matte screen protector on both my iPhone and my iPad from MOTHCA. And these two screen protectors have changed everything for me actually, because that means that these two devices are really great reading ebooks on when you're inside for indoor reading. And I will compare that very short to my Kindle Paperwhite and also this device, the XPPEN Magic Notepad. This was actually the device that made me think about doing this. This made me got the idea to mount these matte screen protectors, because this device has that from the fabric. It's an NXTPAPER like device. So if we go to my table cam here, you see that I have a light down here so you can see the reflections. You see that it has a matte screen protector that make glare and reflections more tolerable, as you see. But the problem with this device is that it has quite bad viewing angles. So if I do this when reading, I don't read like this, but then it has quite bad reading angles. So I thought, why not mount a matte screen protector on my iPad Air and also on my iPhone to get the same idea as a NXTPAPER device. So for comparison, here we have a Kindle Paperwhite. You see it doesn't remove any glare or reflections at all whatsoever, so you actually have more problem reading the text on this Kindle Paperwhite when you have glare and reflections. Even this NXTPAPER device has better user experience when it comes to that. But here we have my iPhone. As you see now, it has the matte screen protector from MOTHCA, and you see it removes quite much of the glare and reflection, and you can still read this a lot better than most devices. It works really great. Really great actually. And I have a dark mode on because that shows the glare and reflections more than the white. So if I change to white background, you see it hardly get any glare or reflections. So if you are in an environment with a lot of light, for example outside or inside with a lot of light, then you should use the white background to get rid of most of the reflections and glare, as you can see here. The same on the Kindle Paperwhite. I really hate the dark mode on the Kindle, because dark mode on a Kindle is usually gray, not black. So it doesn't look so good as it does on the iPad and iPhone. But if we remove the dark mode here, you get a black text on a white background. And now, yes, you have a lot of glare and reflection, as you see, but it's a bit better than with the dark mode on. And the same with the iPad. I have a matte screen protector on now. It looks gorgeous, really sharp. The text is gorgeous looking. It's so nice to see. And you see you have a lot of glare and reflections, but a lot better than without this matte screen protector. So if we now click on this and make it white background, you see you can still read this a lot better than on a glossy display that the iPad has from default. A lot better than a glossy. Works really great. Thanks, Siri. And the same with this. If we change to white background with black text, you have this. a lot better for glare and reflections. I think actually this has the best glare and reflection removal of all the devices I have here. But then again, you get a lot worse viewing angles when reading. But it removes glare and reflections the best. And it also has this magic button that you can choose an e-ink mode. It doesn't add e-ink to this device, but it removes all the colors and makes it complete black and white, and that saves the battery on this device, so you get a lot better battery life by doing this. You see, not much glare and reflections. If you want to go to back to normal color mode, then you can go back into that by doing so. So that I would say is that when I did it first on my iPhone, I was so happy with the display. If you read books on your iPhone and iPad, then you should definitely add a matte screen protector, because this makes it as near a real ink reader when reading. But I prefer reading on these two devices than on e-ink when I'm indoor reading inside, because it has a sharper display. The text is more sharper than it is on a Kindle. It's hard to explain, but this looks more dull and more soft when reading on this. Compared to, for example, on the iPad. The iPad has a more sharp text. If you see down here, a lot sharper text than the Kindle has. And now with removal of glare and reflection, this works great instead of a glossy display. So when I go into dark mode on this, you see how beautiful everything gets. It's hard to show on video, but this looks gorgeous when reading. Really gorgeous. And if you are reading at night, when it's really dark inside, then you should just add this reduce white point as a custom, like so. Now the white is not as in your face, if you know what I mean. When reading this, it's much easier on the eye reading. Yes, it's duller when you have a lot of light as I have now, but usually it's much better to read with that mode. In complete dark room, for example. And the same with iPhone. I prefer reading with black background and white text on the iPhone and iPad. But when it comes to real e-ink devices, I prefer reading with white background and black text instead. So, if I decide between these, I will usually read on my iPad and iPhone when inside at home, and read on this when I'm outside in the direct sunlight, when sitting in the sun, for example, reading. Even if I get a lot of glare and reflections, I think I will choose this, because these devices gets overheated when it's hot outside, and you can now, with a matte screen protector, read even in direct sunlight, because it removes glare and reflections. But after a while, the device throttles the processor, the CPU, and it darkens the display, because the device gets hot outside when reading. So that is why I prefer reading on real e-ink when I'm out in the sun. But if I sit in the shadow outside, I could usually read on my iPhone or iPad instead. No problem whatsoever. This XPPEN Magic Notepad, I usually not using so much anymore, because I have now the iPhone and iPad that simulates the NXTPAPER display quite good. But it looks really good and removes glare and reflections best of all devices, but has a very bad viewing angle. So that was a short update on how good it is to have a matte screen protector on an iPhone and iPad for reading ebooks. It works awesomely good. So this is the way for me at the moment. I read on these devices. Mostly 80% of the books I read on these two devices. And the 20% I read outside in direct sunlight, I read on my other e-ink readers. Okay, bye.